the sequestration potential is huge. This is, I call this my biochar porn. So I've got this sample that shows these actual nut shells and corn cob, some bone fragments. Here's a piece of wood. And what's cool about this is by leaving these things in their original shape, I can show people how they shrink down, how you lose the volume and the mass when you pyrolyze something. So it's a very visual representation of what's happening in the chemical process when we pyrolyze the biomass. The plants, the living things, have accumulated this carbon from the atmosphere and incorporated it into their living structures. And biomass, on average, especially woody material, is about half carbon. When we pyrolyze it, we're basically just treating it at high heat without enough oxygen to burn it all the way to ash. So what's left behind is just the carbon and the mineral substances that were in the living tissue. And everything else has been driven away and combusted. So what we're left with is about half of the carbon that was originally there. And so everything is about half the size that it was. So we've got these beautiful little pieces of carbon. If we took the forestry sector and just took a fraction, percentage of the prunings, the thinnings, the slash, the post-harvest waste from forestry and pyrolyzed it, it would be a similar benefit, and it wouldn't be taking anything there. It would just be an additional treatment, some extra labor, an extra capital process, but at the end, we'd have something very useful. It is quite small, so this will mix very well with compost or any other medium for a potting mix, and this is very easy to incorporate in soil, either during broadcast or to mix into the surface layers. What this will do now when it goes into soil is the first thing that it does is it's got a lot of water in it, because I leave it all damp so that it's easier and safer to handle. This biochar holds 3 times its weight in water. So when this biochar is saturated, but not dripping, it will have 3 times the weight of the biochar itself in water. So if I dry this out, it becomes a lot lighter. And if we pull back the mulch layer, get down to the soil, see all that fungal activity. So that's the wood chip that I put down in mulch, and it's already hosting an incredible diversity of organisms, but the obvious visible one is the fungi which are producing all these white mycelia. You can see the little threads. So those are going to go quite deep into the soil, and they're going to find root hairs from these tomato plants and some of the other plants, and they'll knit together, and they'll form little osmotic exchanges and trade nutrients and sugars and things like that, and send signals and do lots of cool stuff. So there's all these partnerships taking place out of sight, but mutually beneficial, and all this extra carbon is just facilitating those things. But I can just sink my hand right into this soil, and you can just see, you know, the structure. It's fluffy, it's very crumbly, it's damp without being wet or saturated, and yeah, it's just got this really nice feel to it. And like I said, the soil I started with here is it's nice soil, but it's quite heavy and it compacts, and so if left to its own devices, it can become a very solid mass with very little aeration, and you can't sink your hand into it by any stretch of the imagination. And then when it dries out, it becomes quite rock hard. So this is headed in the direction that I want. This is getting into some really nice, fertile looking soil. If you're taking 20 tons per hectare of biomass and pyrolyzing it, that 20 tons per hectare of biomass represents 10 tons of carbon. And if you pyrolyze 10 tons of carbon, you get 5 tons of biochar. 5 tons of biochar is roughly 15 tons of CO2 equivalent.